Well, the CDC just announced we can soon expect the details of the new voluntary cruise program sometime this week. The Port of Miami is set to see a brand new cruise ship, Homeport, there later this year. Plus, there's itinerary changes for at least one Carnival cruise ship. And speaking of Carnival Cruise Lines, there's a shakeup there with one of their most popular cruise directors. All this coming up on Midships. Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. Well, we're officially just 13 days away now from my next cruise aboard the Carnival Liberty. If you don't want to miss all the new content we're going to be bringing you, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out. Now, there's tons of cruise news to get into today, and we're going to start with a story coming out from Carnival Cruise Lines about an extremely popular cruise director and some changes that are coming down the pipe. From cruisehive.com by Emrys Thakkar. Mike Pack becomes Carnival's fleet cruise director. And if you're not familiar with Mike Pack, Mike is currently the cruise director on board the Carnival Mardi Gras. Let's learn a little bit more here about this transition. It's been announced by Carnival's brand ambassador, John Heald, that one of the cruise line's most well-known cruise directors has been promoted to the fleet cruise director. Pack has been a popular leader in making sure guests have a fun-filled cruise vacation, and he's been an important figure on the company's flagship, Mardi Gras. And with Pack becoming the fleet cruise director, it does mean that he'll soon be leaving the Mardi Gras to take on new duties that the role brings with it. Pack will be responsible for working with cruise directors across the fleet, as well as training new ones, which will undoubtedly result in visiting different Carnival ships. And taking Mike's place on the Mardi Gras, Chris Williams, the Flying Scotsman, will soon return to become the ship's cruise director. If you've never been on a cruise with Mike Pack, I would highly recommend hopping on board the Mardi Gras before his time is up there. Now, since we're talking about Carnival Cruise Lines, there's some itinerary changes that they just announced, so let's learn a little more from cruisehive.com. By Robert McGillivray, select itinerary changes for 3 Carnival cruise ships. Carnival Cruise Line announced several changes to itineraries for 3 different vessels this week for voyages departing 2022 through 2024. It includes changes to the Fun Ship Meetup cruise aboard the Carnival Sunrise later this year. Other ships that have changed their itineraries include Carnival Radiance for a cruise in December of 2022, and 2 cruises for the Carnival Freedom in 2023. And if any of those ships sound familiar to you, or you think you might be booked on board one of them, I'd encourage you to check this article out. It's linked down in the description below this video. While you're down there, why don't you check out the link way up at the top to the Midships Instagram? All you got to do to find us on there is just search for Midships Cruise. And last, while you're looking around down there in the description box, do me a favor, check out the Amazon influencers link that I have pinned up towards the top. It'll take you to my personal Amazon store. There you can find cruise swag that I take with me on every single cruise. Most of it costs between 10 and 15 bucks. And the best thing is, just clicking on the links, even if you don't buy anything, does help support this channel and my work just a little bit. Thank you so very much. And now it's time to get back to the cruise news, because there's a brand new ship to get excited about that's going to be homeporting down in Miami later this year. From cruiseindustrynews.com, the new MSC Seascape will homeport in Miami for 2022. MSC Cruises has opened sales for the brand new Seascape, the line's second Seaside Evo class ship currently being built in the Fincantieri shipyards, which is set to be delivered in late November of this year. The ship will homeport in Miami beginning December of 2022 and spend her inaugural season in the Caribbean with 2 different 7-night itineraries. And those itineraries include an Eastern Caribbean, which makes calls at Ocean Cay Marine Reserve, Nassau, San Juan, and Puerto Plata. Conversely, you could always hop on a Western Caribbean itinerary that makes calls to Ocean Cay, Cozumel, Georgetown, and Ocho Rios. Sales have also opened for 2 other MSC cruise ships that will sail in winter of 2022 from Florida, with the Divina sailing from Miami and Meraviglia homeporting in Canaveral. Oh man, yet another new ship that we have to try to get aboard. As many of you out there know, I've sailed with MSC a handful of times now. I absolutely love and adore their private island, Ocean Cay Marine Reserve. Honestly, it's worth the price of the entire cruise just to get to spend a day at Ocean Cay. It looks like my next cruise may be aboard the MSC Meraviglia sometime next month. Still in the works, in the planning. We'll let you guys know. But if you think I should book on board this inaugural sailing for the MSC Seascape, go ahead and leave a thumbs up on this video. That'll let me know I should definitely book on board. Now, most cruise fans know that on the 15th of this month, the conditional sailing order expired and the CDC's hands got out of cruising. But they're not exactly entirely out of cruising, because there's a voluntary program that they're supposedly working on. So let's learn a little more about this voluntary program and when we can expect to see the framework. From cruiseindustrynews.com, CDC promises new cruise program details this week. The US CDC saw its conditional sailing order expire January 15th. And as promised, details are forthcoming on the replacement program. And we have a quote here that the CDC sent out to media on Tuesday. CDC sent information about the voluntary program to the cruise industry and are anticipating cruise ship operators to choose to participate or not in the coming week. Additional details are scheduled to be released later this week. The agency said it's transitioning to a COVID-19 risk mitigation program for foreign flag cruise ships operating in U.S. waters. The program will include recommendations and guidance for cruise ships to continue to operate in a way that provides a safer and healthier environment for crew, passengers, and communities that ships visit. And the CDC went on to say that cruise ships operating in U.S. waters choosing to participate in our program will agree to follow all the recommendations and guidance issued by the CDC as part of the program. These recommendations are aimed at reducing the introduction and spread of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. Cruise ships operating in U.S. waters and sailing on international itineraries choosing not to participate in the program will be designated as a gray status on the cruise ship color chart website. So it seems like the CDC is not quite ready to unveil this new program just yet. I know there were a lot of complaints. A lot of people didn't really love the color status situation that they had going on with the conditional sailing order. It was kind of confusing, and it really didn't take that many cases on board a ship to go into a status that would scare people away from potentially cruising with the lines. So it looks like they're trying to rework some of that to make it a little less scary or a little less confusing. So we'll have to see what the CDC comes out with. They only have a few days left this week to get this new information out. But you know how things run on government time. They're just a little bit slower than we do here in the private sector. Hey, before we get into our next story, I want to ask you a favor. If you think this is a good video and you think that YouTube should recommend it to other cruisers like you, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button for me. If you don't already know, it's one of the most helpful things you can do for your favorite YouTube creators. Now, we all know that South Florida is the home of cruising as we know it, but there's a new port that's looking to give them a run for their money. Let's learn about what's going on in Galveston, Texas. From cruiseradio.net by Sarah Bretz, the Port of Galveston is gearing up for an exciting 2022 and 2023. The future's looking bright for the Port of Galveston. The Texas port will be the home port to the megaship Allure of the Seas, as well as the brand new Norwegian Prima for part of 2022, and also for Carnival's newest flagship, the Jubilee, in 2023. Already, Carnival has 3 ships there year-round, Royal Caribbean has 1 year-round and 1 seasonally, and Disney has 1 ship sailing seasonally. With the arrival of Allure, Royal Caribbean is set to open a new $125 million terminal in Galveston this November. Galveston was one of the first U.S. ports to welcome ships back after the shutdown, when Carnival Vista set sail back on July the 3rd. As someone who's cruised out of Galveston recently with Royal Caribbean, I definitely agree that they need a new terminal. The one they have going on there, it's a little bit sleepy right now. It's a little older, but with all of these new ships announced coming to Galveston, things are looking up for that port. If you made it this far into today's episode, why haven't you subscribed to this channel yet? We have a goal to be at 10,000 subscribers by the middle of March. Do us a favor and join on. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today, and until next time, we'll see ya on the Midships.